Kristen, and this is Miss Carol, and she's just going to tell me a little bit about her lifestyle on the farm and what she liked and didn't like. Okay. So just tell me about your life on the farm and what were some advantages and disadvantages.
Well, as a child, life on the farm was pretty much fun. A lot of outside time, a lot of time being around animals, a lot of work time. So,
And were there like certain tasks that each family person or each person in your family did? Like if your dad did more things that you didn't do, or if it changed when you got older?
yes, my dad actually worked full time, and then he had this farm operation sideline, small scale. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. There were four of us, and we all helped with the chores at home, which consisted of a fairly large garden that we used to help feed our family. Um, and the other chores we were responsible for were to help keep cattle fed that needed food, and any other small miscellaneous things that we could do age appropriate.
And so, what kind of crops did you grow?
The row crops he had were soybeans and some corn, occasionally some wheat.
And did you have any like livestock? And did you have like any livestock that were for like farming or for pets as well? I know like chickens or stuff like that.
As a child, I don't recall having any chickens, but I do vaguely remember having hogs. We had a milk cow for a while, and I remember all of my childhood having beef cattle that he used. And the beef cattle were what we would have to make sure were fed, that when he got off of work, that was not something he had to do.
And so, did you grow up in like a farming community with other neighbors that were farmers, or were you the only farm that you remember?
There were other farms that had their gardens, and they may have had other farmers renting or leasing and farming their land, but we actually farmed our own land right around our home, and that was different from what the other neighborhoods were. As far as neighbors, our closest neighbors were maybe a quarter, 3/4 of a mile away from us.
Very spread apart.
Very spread apart.
Not like the modern
No.
neighborhoods where you can almost touch your neighbor. And did you ever like eat the food you produced? Because I know you said you had row crops, but were like the garden, did you eat the food that you produced in the garden?
We did. We would never buy anything like corn, green beans, tomatoes, lima beans. All of that was produced in the garden. When the summer garden would be finished, we would do crops or things in the fall like kale, greens, turnips, that type of thing.
So you didn't go to the grocery store very often?
When you went to the grocery store, it was to buy things that did not grow, that you couldn't grow. And we grew enough. We would have a freezer full that would last, or canned enough to last us for a year. Potatoes, we never bought potatoes as a child.
Yeah. And did you ever want to live in the suburbs or the city as a child, and ever, I guess, dreamed about what it would be like?
No. As a child, I think I probably felt like I had a perfect place for me to live. I had friends who did not have a garden farm lifestyle as the norm, but no, I never wanted to live like they lived.
Yeah. And do you think that the farming lifestyle has changed since, like, there's been a lot of, maybe that you remember, a lot of family farms, and compared to today, there isn't as many?
There are not many family farms. There definitely are not many that were of the scale that I grew up on. Today, it's either a very large family farm or a large farm that has hundreds of acres. I think that's a shame, because there's not much outside time for kids today. If they're in the suburbs or they're in inner city, they don't know how to go outside and play like what was normal for us. But I think that for me personally, no, I don't think it's as good as what it was that I grew up with.
That the modern lifestyle isn't better than the farming lifestyle.
I don't think so. It's probably easier, but I don't think it's better.
More convenient.
It is more convenient.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me interview you and learning all about your lifestyle compared to mine or other people's today.
Thank you.